Ever since they adjusted this fight, it has been incredibly difficult to complete unless you have Hand Guy, ML Kawerik. But here's a team we've come up with that will help you clear this without using ML Kawerik, and it makes for a pretty easy clear. First, we're going to start with Rem. I know she's limited, but she's perfect for this, and even though she's ice into a green unit, she works great. You want to give her the Symbol of Unity artifact. This will help her overcome the elemental disadvantage so she can do some damage. Next, we're going to use Kitty Clarissa. Kitty Clarissa is great for this. You want to build her with at least 200% effect resistance. That'll keep her from being stunned. I'm going to try the Pure White Trust artifact on her because I think it'll help her go speed or with her speed. But you could run a damage artifact on her just fine. Alencia is a flex pick here. I like her because she gives a defense buff and she's a pretty good damage dealer herself. You could replace her with any other warrior. Fire Ravi, Apocalypse Ravi, all of those would work. And Camilla, who is missing a helmet. So I went ahead and put my Camilla on Rage Set just to min-max the damage a little bit. Totally not necessary. In fact, you can run her with 140% effect resistance and put Strat Gauntlet on her and make her immune to stuns too. So the trick to this fight is if you single target Vera on stage 1, she stuns everybody, and the stun is very, very hard to deal with. But Rem, if she goes into demon mode, she can't be stunned. She's immune to all debuffs, and that lets you just pound on the boss with impunity. So right out of the gate, I'm going to launch Alencia's S3 to get a defense buff up and give everybody a little bit of protection because we aren't running with any form of healing here. Kitty Clarissa can activate to get her ready for her S2s, or sorry, for her S1 dual attacks. Go ahead and just use her S2 here, just simply to not proc any dual attacks. I'll go ahead and use the S2 on Camilla. That'll get my dual attack ready. And of course Vera stuns my 2 damage dealers, but that's okay. Because I put a Rage Pen set on Camilla, she has enough damage to kill one of the spiders. That wakes up Rem, and now Rem doesn't have any debuffs that can proc on her. I do the S3 to get rid of all the adds. That will prevent Vera from countering. She only does her counter stun when she's got friends. So the goal on this is just to burst down to that 50% point as quickly as possible. If Camilla had 200% effect res, she'd be able to get another attack off here and make this extra clean, but as you can see, push right out of that most difficult stage 1 very, very quickly and cleanly with minimal damage to my team. And that's really the hardest part. The rest of the Vera mission is pretty easy to complete. It's just getting past that stupid stun phase because it locks you down and damages your units so bad that you don't have the health reserves left to push past the rest of this fight. Kitty Clarissa having that S1 EE does help with a little bit of healing. Again, you can see Alencia brings a lot of damage to the table. Alencia also has that nice defense break on her S1. Camilla also has a defense break on her S1, so put a little bit of effectiveness on them to help land those. Because the demon mode eventually wears off and you can no longer rely on Rem for your defense breaks. Now that that immunity is a little bit annoying, so I'll go ahead and use my S2 to try to remove some turns off of it. Unfortunately, I didn't remove any turns off of it, so we're just going to have to push our way through that immunity and keep everybody alive with defense buffs. Camilla can go ahead and put her attack buff back on her and on Rem. As long as Camilla has an attack buff, she can do her dual attack trick. Unfortunately, no strip on that AoE. We've still got a big old immunity buff on Vera, which is slowing the run down a little bit. But the dual attacks with Rem, even while not in demon mode, will help chip down the damage. Again, as you can see there, another good reason why you'd want to have effect resistance on your Camilla. Stripped away my attack buff and provoked me. Well, this is really stalled, but we'll go ahead and activate our S3 to get our dual attack buff back up. I'm going to go ahead and try one more time for that S2, and I still did not strip it off of Vera. Good lord. So this is about the longest way around this fight that you could have without having any defense breaks on Vera. We finally got it stripped away, so we can actually start landing defense breaks and doing actual damage on this stupid worm. But the nice thing about this taking so long is you can see how stable the team is. Even whittling it down as slowly as possible, everybody is still on their feet. Kitty Clarissa is pretty close to death, but I think everybody will pull through on this fight. You may be tempted to drop a an Archie here, but I believe Vera is immune to the HP scaling on Archie. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I'm pretty sure that's true. So if true, that'll help you damage the 2 eggs and that crab-looking thing up front, but it really won't help much versus Vera. So you can save the souls to soul burn units, or just ignore them entirely, because really this team is pretty clean. Hey, there's our defense break, so now we can actually do significant damage and finish off this annoying fight. There we go. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it helps you complete this incredibly difficult, up till now, Dagger Sicar fight. I'm going to mention one other team. If you don't want to use Camilla, and if you're lucky enough to have her, throw Conqueror Lilius on the team. It's even faster. Conqueror Lilius, although her dual attack is random, she's so much faster than Camilla. The dual attacks will either be with Alencia or with Rem more often than not. And because of her cycling, especially with Border Coin on, she'll probably go 2, maybe 3 times with a dual attack for every 1 time that Camilla went, and she is also not dependent on an attack buff. She can lay it down anytime she wants. In addition to that, the Vigor debuff will increase Rem's damage significantly, and it will also reduce the inbound damage, making it easier to survive. There's one other big perk to using Lilius, or Conqueror Lilius, is that her S2 gives a barrier to the person with the lowest health. So a barrier is basically a heal in these kind of fights. Artificial hit points are still hit points. So if you use Conqueror Lilius, I think it can make the team even smoother. If you want to go high octane, then replace Alencia with Camilla, and you probably have an extremely fast clear team. So I will go ahead and speed up the video at this point and let it play out, because it's the exact same fight as before, just with a different unit in that bottom position. I hope one of these teams helps you clear this, and if you liked the video, please give a like or subscribe. Thank you very much.